Everyone knows just how scary Suge Knight was in the 90s. Many people saw this big 6'2" man as the villain or boogeyman of hip-hop at the time.
Suge has generally been portrayed as like the boogeyman, of hip-hop. It's like, oh, Suge's coming, we out. Like that type of thing.
Today, I'm here to tell you about one of the people who really didn't give a shit about Suge Knight, even in the 90s. Master P is one of those people who really wasn't scared of Suge, and he just didn't buy into the persona. But let's make no mistake here, this doesn't mean Suge wasn't as dangerous or feared as many people said he was. I mean, if you ask Tony Yayo, he would tell you people dropped their cameras and started running when they saw Suge Knight.
Nah, cause when people see Suge Knight, cameras dropping shit. I don't know what y'all gonna do if you see Suge Knight. You might drop the camera. Shit, Suge Knight. I seen shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Suge pull up and shit. Easiest.
But when you guys were walking through the awards,
Suge Knight, nah, cause when people see Suge Knight, cameras dropping shit. I don't know what y'all gonna do if you see Suge Knight. You might drop the camera. Shit, Suge Knight. I seen shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Suge pull up. In the club video shoot, motherfuckers was dropping cameras, nigga. Dancers was running. Suge Knight! Cause Suge Knight was like,
he meant business.
Back in the days, think about it, death row. If you see Suge Knight coming, you know we got beef. Not saying what y'all gonna do, but you might drop the camera, no disrespect. Yeah, I'm not risking my life for 50 Cent and G-Unit and them niggas. I try to tell these niggas, man.
And Fat Joe would tell you that people were actually terrified of Suge Knight.
They was not scared of Suge Knight. They was terrified of Suge Knight.
Right.
I mean, terrified.
I know.
No, to death.
To death.
Wow.
Suge himself confirmed that at the peak of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, he once made a man drink 20 shots of piss.
He might have got a few punches, and he probably drunk about 20 shots of piss. You know what I mean? Literally.
However, despite all of these and Suge's reputation, Master P stood up to Suge Knight when he wanted to sign Snoop Dogg in 1998. The beef became so serious that Suge even tried to run P out of town.
That was great.
Yeah. So you got a call from Suge. Did anything like transpire from that? What?
Oh, he say Cal ain't big enough for me, him, and Puffy.
Oh, wow.
Well, I say when you moving, because I just bought a house.
This beef goes all the way back to when Death Row Records just began and when Snoop Dogg got signed. Suge and Snoop's relationship got sketchy back in the early 90s. So, Dr. Dre had just left NWA, and he and Suge were about to start auditions for rappers that they wanted to sign to Death Row. During this period, Snoop Dogg was just another dude from Long Beach who formed the rap group with his homies. Snoop, Nate Dogg, and Warren G had all formed the group 213. But luckily for Snoop, one of his freestyles found its way to Dr. Dre. After Dre heard Snoop's bars, he realized just how special Snoop was and invited Snoop to audition for Death Row. Dre wanted to sign Snoop, but not everyone was sold on Snoop's talent. Suge Knight wasn't exactly keen on signing Snoop Dogg, but Dre eventually convinced him to give Snoop a contract, and this was how the iconic duo began. Dre and Snoop then worked together extensively on Dre's debut album, The Chronic, and they had such good chemistry that Snoop appeared on 13 out of the 16 tracks on The Chronic. After the success of The Chronic, it was now time for Snoop to drop his own debut album, Doggy Style. And if the success of The Chronic hadn't convinced Suge of Snoop's talent, Doggy Style was Snoop's chance to prove himself once and for all. But while Snoop was in album mode and creating Doggy Style, he hit a snag that could have ended his career forever. On the 24th of August 1993, Snoop and his driver McKinley Lee, aka Malik, got into an altercation with Philip Wildermariam. Snoop is actually a member of the Rollin' 20 Crips gang, while Wildermariam was a member of the Buy Yourself Hustler Crips, a Crips set that was affiliated to the Rollin' 60 Crips. This altercation eventually led to Snoop's bodyguard shooting and killing Wildermariam. Snoop was charged with murder, but thanks to Suge, he was able to get the best lawyers, secure bail, and eventually beat the charge. And when Snoop eventually dropped Doggy Style, he sold 806,000 copies in his first week, which was actually the highest for any hip-hop album at the time. So by now, Snoop had obviously proven himself as an asset to Suge Knight. Snoop was at the peak of his career, and many even refer to him as the king of the West Coast. But despite this success, Snoop and Suge Knight weren't exactly friends, and their relationship was just that of a label executive and his artist. Suge then decided to sign Tupac in 1995, and Pac blew up faster than anyone could have imagined. Pac quickly became the face of Death Row, and Snoop was no longer the biggest name on the label.
Imagine if you, the biggest star on Death Row, and Pac come and take all your shine. You understand?
Suge Knight noticed this and even mentioned to Pac that Death Row was indeed the house that Snoop built.
And I do recall there was a time when I was going down the hallway, Suge and Pac were talking in the hallway. They would just look like finalizing a conversation. And I don't know what was said before, but I do know that Suge said, but man, be respectful. This is the house that Snoop built.
Snoop, did you find yourself after the trial, like in the studio, trying to get some stuff done? Or?
You know what? My people from Death Row, they took me out of town, you know what I'm saying? To release my mind. That's something I really needed, you know what I'm saying? I had fun in the water. I went to the water, I was in the sky, me and Tupac was like 30 feet in the air.
However, despite what you just saw, it didn't take too long before Snoop and Pac stopped being friends. After the East Coast-West Coast rivalry began, Pac and Snoop's relationship was no longer the same. This was because Snoop stated that he was cool with the people that Pac considered his enemies.
Biggie Smalls, he's an artist that I listen to his music, I love his work. There's no beef, it's nothing personal. I don't hate him and I don't disrespect him and I love what he do, you know what I'm saying? And it's just me, I'm just a smooth, peaceful individual. I don't have beef with nobody right now, baby.
Snoop Dogg also confirmed that just before Pac was killed, he and Pac had begun having serious issues. Snoop stated in an interview with Angie Martinez that he and Pac's friendship had gotten so bad that he was willing to stab both Suge, Pac, and other Death Row homies on a private flight they all took together.
I'm like, what's up, Pac? And they do me like this. So I walk to the back of the plane, give me a blanket, grab me a knife and a fork, put the blanket over my nose right here, my little black glasses on, and ride like this the whole flight, hoping one of them come with me so I could stab out everybody on this mother.
So by now, Suge and Snoop were no longer friends. In fact, there are some rumors that Suge even made some attempts on Snoop's life. Remember that Snoop is a member of the Rollin' 20 Crips, and Suge Knight was a member of the MOB Pyru Bloods, so they were never truly friends. And shortly after Pac was killed, Suge was also sentenced to 9 years in prison, and this was Snoop's chance to get out of Death Row. And this was when their beef became public.
Suge Knight recently said he used to be a superstar and now he's just a no-limit soldier. What do you say to that?
Nothing. He used to be a CEO, now he's just an inmate.
Luckily for Snoop, Master P wanted to bring him to No Limit Records, but negotiating with Suge Knight wasn't going to be an easy task. And this was when Master P showed that he wasn't scared of Suge Knight. Master P went to Mule Creek State Prison to negotiate with Suge Knight, but Suge wouldn't budge easily.
So P goes to Mule Creek Prison.
I met with Suge Knight and said, look, man, what you want for Snoop? I heard that you got a deal on the table.
Master P had to pay millions of dollars for Suge Knight to release Snoop Dogg from his contract.
I met with Suge Knight and said, look, man, what you want for Snoop? I heard that you got a deal on the table.
They had a conversation, they got an understanding, worked out some numbers.
Told me what it was, and I put an extra $200,000 or $300,000 on it, and that was it.
What was the number?
It was a couple mil.
And just to let you know how difficult negotiating with Suge Knight was, Snoop himself also confirmed just how feared Suge was at the time.
Master P went to go visit Suge Knight in the penitentiary and struck a deal because everybody else was scared of that nigga. Everybody, that's when Suge Knight was the monster, the boogeyman.
Still, Suge Knight and Master P's story doesn't end here. Suge Knight was granted early release from prison in August 2001, and after Suge became a free man, he reached out to Master P. Suge Knight tried to press Master P to get him to leave LA, but he wasn't having any of it.
That was great.
So you got a call from Suge. Did anything like transpire from that?
Oh, he say Cal ain't big enough for me, him, and Puffy.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Well, I say when you moving, because I just bought a house.
However, Suge Knight recently stated that the story of Master P visiting him in prison never happened at all. On his Collect Call podcast, Suge stated that Master P never came to visit him.
Is that P stood up there and say he came to visit me in prison. I just heard this.
I met with Suge Knight and said, look, man, what you want for Snoop?
He gave me a couple of bucks, $2 million, which I never would have took no shit like that for Snoop.
What was the number?
It was a couple mil.
I got a whole list of anybody ever visited me. You got to be approved. That nigga name is not on none of it. Neither to give me anything. And the paperwork is what the paperwork says.
Suge stated that rather than Master P visiting him in prison or paying him money to let Snoop go, he did a deal and loaned Snoop's services to Priority Records. And it was Priority Records who then allowed Snoop to sign with No Limit and Master P.
I did a deal with Brian Turner at Priority Records and loaned Snoop's services to Priority and gave him the right to loan it to No Limit.
So, who do you think was capping? Do you think Suge was telling the truth? Or do you believe Master P actually went to meet him in prison? Let me know in the comments.
This is how much I believe in this man. I said, Snoop, what you want, bro? What you need? Okay, he told me what he needed. I said, don't worry about it, that's done.
Yeah, that's
then I had to go to the jailhouse
to negotiate. Not negotiate, but negotiate with Mr. Knight.
So I sit down and I say, look, man, you know, Snoop trying to do his thing. You know, what you want for this deal? You say, I got a deal on the table already for whoop, whoop, whoop. I said, man, look, I'm gonna give you 300 more
than what they gonna give you.
Than what they gonna give you. You know what I'm saying?
And what I thank you for is that you went and got my publishing back.
Yeah.
When I was on No Limit, I watched you do everything, P. I'm talking about from creating the business to starting the business to showing people how to do it, and you was always one to teach ownership. On No Limit, everybody loved each other. We picked each other up. We ate together. We went to the Waffle House together. We rapped together. We all complimented each other.
It's all a family.
On Death Row, it wasn't like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. We was family. There was a lot of tension. On No Limit, we looked after the little man. Whoever the little guy was, we wanted him to get big.